What if everything you thought you knew about how long a person can live was just wrong? Not just a little bit wrong, but like hundreds of years wrong. That's the wild idea we're going to unpack today, based on a source that makes some pretty mind-bending claims.
So let's just get right to it. The source we're diving into, it doesn't mess around. It hits you with this powerful question right from the start. What if your whole idea of a normal lifespan isn't just a little off, but centuries off? Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds like something out of a fantasy novel, right? But the source is super clear on this point. This isn't about some magical fountain of youth. The argument is that this potential is baked right into our biology, a potential that this source claims was taken from us. So, where does this idea even come from? Well, to build its case, the source tells us to look back, way back, at the stories we've been telling ourselves for thousands of years. And that brings us to this big historical puzzle. The source throws out a question that's kind of hard to ignore. How on earth did all these ancient cultures, with no way to talk to each other, all end up telling the same exact story?
I mean, think about it. We're talking about places like ancient China, India, early African cultures. For most of history, these places were worlds apart. And yet, the source says they all have these records or legends of people living for hundreds of years. Coincidence? Maybe. And this is where the argument really starts to crystallize. The source puts it like this: asking how people separated by oceans could come up with the exact same lie, unless it wasn't a lie. It's a pretty compelling question, right? It challenges the whole idea that these are just made-up stories.
So what's the takeaway from all this? According to the source, it's pretty wild. The idea is that these weren't just stories, they were memories, echoes of a time when we actually did live that long. And this is the key part. That truth was deliberately twisted into a myth.
Okay, so that idea that a truth was hidden takes us from ancient history right into biology. The source shifts gears and starts looking at the human body itself, and it presents it as this incredible, fascinating paradox.
And this is really the heart of it. On one side, you have the promise of the human body, right? It's this brilliant machine that can repair itself, replace its own parts. It's literally designed to last. But then you have our reality. Pills for every little thing, injuries that never seem to fully heal. And we're just told, oh, that's just a normal part of getting older. The source is basically asking, why is there such a massive gap between what our bodies could do and what they actually do?
And that question, well, it leads us to the most shocking part of this whole claim. If our bodies are so brilliantly designed, why do they break down? The source has an answer, and it's a big one. The argument isn't that our bodies are weak or flawed. Nope. The argument is that they've been sabotaged. That our shorter lives and all these diseases we face, they're not natural. They're the result of someone or something messing with the system.
So how is this system supposedly tampered with? Well, the source points to the things we take for granted every single day. It claims our food supply was changed, that our water became, well, cloudy is the word they use, and that even the air we breathe got filled with stuff, dust and signals, designed to wear us down. Okay, so this is where you have to ask the biggest question of all, right? Why? If any of this is even remotely true, what's the motive? Why would anyone possibly want to shorten our lives? And the source doesn't shy away from that question. It dives right in, and the motive it suggests, it all comes down to one thing: control. And here's how that logic works, according to the source. Just look at the difference. A person who lives for 300 years, they remember. They see patterns over centuries. They ask tough questions. They're not easy to fool or control. But a person with a 70-year lifespan, their memory is shorter. They're more likely to just accept things as they are. They, as the source puts it, pass down silence. The motive? To create a population that's easier to manage. And that brings us to the final, incredibly powerful summary of this entire idea. It completely flips the script on how we think about our own health. It's not about what you did wrong, it's about what was done to you. The message is simple and brutal. Your body didn't fail you, they just broke it. And we're left with this final, kind of chilling idea from the source that this wasn't an accident. It's not something that just happened recently. It's been going on for a very, very long time. It really leaves you wondering, doesn't it? What if the biggest limits we think we have aren't natural at all, but were put there on purpose?